Welcome to this week's scouting report on LUTV. 4 games to go for the Whites, and on Good Friday it's a home matchup against struggling Wigan Athletic. Former Leeds player Ben Parker is with us to run the rule over our opponents, the Latics, on Friday. But Ben, you know, the players again, good confidence, good spirits after a really good victory against Sheffield Wednesday last week, weren't they?
Great victory, great performance, and the performance levels that were kind of more encouraging. Great signs that going into this stage of the season, produce a performance like we had done. 27, 28 attempts on target against a team that were pushing for promotion while trying to break into the playoffs themselves. It just shows what type of form we are at the moment.
Yeah, good form, because it was a good performance, wasn't it? I mean, that's the point. The scoreline, that's, you know, flattered Sheffield Wednesday. But, you know, from the coach's point of view, and the players as well, they'll be delighted with how they played, won't they?
It gives you so much confidence as a player. You know you can put performances like that under the most intense pressure. We knew the result coming in from Sheffield United, could hear the cheers going all over Leeds. We was a bit happy, shall we say, in the studio also. But the players had a job to do. They had to put in a performance, but also get the 3 points. That was the key thing. But to get the both were fantastic.
Okay, well, let's look closer in at Wigan Athletic. As we know, have been struggling this season, very much in a relegation fight, and need the points as much as we do, of course, at the top of the table. Back in November now, a long time ago we got a victory, which, you know, again, a few of these games that we've come from behind, it was a fast start, wasn't it, from Wigan, but we showed our quality at the end, didn't we?
We did do, and again, another game where you looked at the stats after the game and you thinking, scratching your head, why is it only 2-1? It could have been 4 or 5. But again, showed the desire, the belief to get back into the game after going a goal behind. And we've been accustomed to a goal like this kind of more frequently. Get to the byline, cut the ball back into the box, and Pablo Hernandez finished off the chance there. But it was a vital 3 points at this stage of the season. Going over to Wigan, you could see the fans in the background from our point of view, travelled in huge numbers as they always do. But yeah, it was great to get the 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, you know, these are just, you know, sort of another chance there that we'd had sort of long range. But it was one of the strangest goals, wasn't it, to win a game this season that we actually got, which actually proved to be the winning goal.
It was, and you look across different moments throughout the season, and these stuff kind of goes unnoticed. You don't really remember too much about these moments, but again, they are big moments throughout the season, and anytime you can capitalise on a mistake from the opposition, you've got to take full advantage. And we've been so good at that because we put pressure on the defence of the back four, the keeper. They're going to break sooner or later, and we're in the right place to punish them.
Yeah, and for Wigan, you know, they are down at the bottom end of the table, of course, trying to pull themselves away from the relegation. But this was a good point for them, of course, against a Norwich side who would have expected to go to the DW and win the game, wouldn't they?
And I watched this game live. I watched the full 90 minutes just because obviously looking at the Norwich result, but also looking at as opposition on Friday, just to get an idea what a Wigan are about, because obviously you look at the table, you think they're a struggling side, but they put a great performance on Sunday afternoon, early afternoon against the Norwich side, who obviously the top of the table, firing all guns blazing at the moment, and they were very unlucky was Wigan to only get a point from this game based on the chances they did create.
Are they a better team going forward than they are at the back? Is that their strength?
I think they're a better team at home, definitely. And it's like any team around the bottom. They do have individual good players. The guy who just scored the penalty there, scored the goal against us, Reece James, will speak a little bit about him later on. But every team in this division have good individual players. I think where they kind of struggle, especially going away from home, they're easy to break down. You can get them in different areas. But like this guy getting on the ball here, Leon Clark, he's scored numerous of goals up and down the country for various different teams. And on another day, he had one chalked off right at the end for offside. He was just offside, but a great opportunity there. On another day, could have had 2-3 goals quite easy. Yeah,
and Wigan need wins, don't they? I mean, when you're down at the bottom end of the table, wins do so much for you, don't they, in terms of your fight for survival. So it makes their approach quite interesting, doesn't it, on Friday, because they will probably come here, you know, and going for that victory that they need. We'll take a look at the 2 potential starting lineups. We're recording this ahead of Marcelo Bielsa's press conference, so unsure maybe about the fitness of the Leeds team, but if it is the same side last week, if Liam Cooper doesn't make it back, we know that Gaetano Berardi, of course, did a wonderful job. As for this Wigan side, then again, you know, will they come to attack? Is that going to be their sort of best game plan on the weekend?
Well, as you're just alluding to there, they need wins at this stage of the season now, because it's getting ever so tight around that the relegation. The spot was probably like the last reigning one. You think Bolton, they're probably dead and buried, unfortunately, at the moment. But it makes an intriguing battle, because, like I said, the players that they have got in the team look throughout more like the spine of the team. There's some good players, the players that can score goals and kind of hurt you. But If you look at the away record just in particular, they scored 19, conceded 42, and there lies the problem right there.
Yeah, a big problem for them away from home. Obviously, we take a look at that sort of Wigan side, and sort of one of the key men that you want to talk about is a man in midfield, and someone who's got a lot of energy, hasn't he? He provides a lot of sort of the engine room for Wigan going forward, box to box player.
He's played a couple of positions. Of late, he's played predominantly right back, then he's come into centre midfield, kind of a holding, and then more like a kind of a 4-4-2 box-to-box kind of midfielder. And he's very highly thought of, got into the Championship Team of the Year. And for a player to do that, being in Wigan's position, shows what he's about. Obviously on loan from Chelsea, signed a new 4-year deal at the start of the season with those guys, so they think highly of him as well. And I've been very, very impressed with him. He's got loads of energy. He's had 3 goals to his game this year, 3 assists. But he's just all-round dynamic midfield, and he's a player with high energy. Because you see him here, he's won the ball back, he's drove 30, 40 yards into the opposition, and he's smashed one into the top corner. And for a lad at his age, young age, to do it in a struggling team, it does highlight his quality as well.
Yeah, I suppose from his point of view, he's I wouldn't say he's necessarily playing for himself, but because he's a lone player, he's a dangerous one, isn't he? Because he'll obviously be looking to impress, his manager down at Stamford Bridge, but also he's got that quality that that obviously means a Premier League club have kind of giving him a new contract. But he looks dangerous if you give him room, but he's also got a real eye for goal, so we don't want to give him any chances to shoot, do we?
No, and what it kind of reminds me of is probably 2-3 years ago with Izzy Brown.
Yeah. When
he went to Rotherham, and Rotherham came here struggling at the time. And Izzy Brown were a standout player, obviously on loan from Chelsea also, and it just shows what these type of players can do.
Okay, Wigan then, their goal scoring away from home, it's not the best. This ties into their away form not being fantastic, but you wouldn't expect it to be, of course, with where they are in the division. But how has their general approach been, and how might that change, Ben? Given you're in almost last chance saloon, it's 4 games to go for Wigan to secure secure the Championship status.
In terms of Paul Cook's teams, he's always liked them to play nice, attractive football, getting the ball down, playing the right way. And so it doesn't surprise them, most of the goals are scored away from home has been from open play, by trying to break teams down, getting in between the lines. And unfortunately, they just haven't been able to get enough goals probably away from home to drag themselves out. Because every time you go away from home, a team that's kind of struggling, any point you can pick up away is so vital. Because everyone knows about your home form, that's your bread and butter. But especially at the bottom, these are the games and these are the points you try and pick up away, where they're vital. And this were a vital goal going to Bristol City right at the death. And again, it highlights where the kind of strengths are. Again, with Leon Clyde getting the goal there.
Yeah, but I mean, some of those goals look a bit sort of scrambly, don't they, really? I mean, it's maybe they're missing that kind of one focal point, that one man who's going to score sort of 10, 15 goals a season. As far as they've been conceding goals, again, it's a mixture here. I mean, the fact they're giving away 5 penalties, that must be one of the higher numbers in the Championship away from home. But, set piece, and a lot from open play. And I got that feeling, I know a lot has happened since the game between the two sides in November, but we got that feeling in that game, although it was a tight final result, the scoreline was tight, that we did create chances. We kind of pulled them apart when we put sort of severe pressure on them. And you'd expect, we put pressure on a much better side against Sheffield Wednesday, so you'd expect the same thing, wouldn't you, against Wigan, obviously?
From our point of view, nothing should change. That's kind of the performance level you want for the next 4 games of the season, and if we can replicate that, we're going to give ourselves a great chance of winning football matches. And it don't matter who you're against, we proved it against the Sheffield Wednesday team, what we can do. So when you come against the Wigan team, you think our movement, our pace, our tempo should be too much for them, but you got to take them very serious, because like I said, the last game against Norwich were great, and they've only lost 1 in the last 5. So with they're not a pushover by any means, but you've got to take care of yourself, because you can get into the final third. Like they get bodies back, and it's like the teams we've seen down at the bottom who we've done the scout reports on. They seem to get bodies back, but whether communication's an issue, whether they're just not in the right place, right time. There's a lot of things going into the mix, which obviously don't help them.
Stats for both teams then over the last 5 games. I mean, Wigan proving they can get results as they have been doing over the last 5 without necessarily the possession of the ball. Goals isn't particularly bad, and actually, it looks pretty healthy as far as they're concerned, Wigan at the moment. But this is a different prospect for them. I mean, I'm sure, over in Wigan they are daunted by the prospects of coming to Elland Road, aren't they?
Well, the kind of game I wanted to highlight was when Millwall came here just a couple of weeks ago. Similar position, similar type of team, and they played with no fear that day. it was almost like the shackles were off. Like no one expected them to win up and down the country, and they caused us some problems that day. So we've got to be kind of wary of Wigan's threats. Like I said, they've got some good individual players on the day that can hurt you. So look, you've got to be wary, you've got to be careful of these type of players. But it always goes back to the point is when we're bang at it, when we look after ourselves, we should be able to easily run away from them, and by doing the right things, doing the basics well.
Yeah, looking at the results as well, you know, decent, but they need more victories, don't they? I think that's probably the problem for Wigan at the moment. You know, you say good points, you know, at Bristol, good point at home, of course, against Norwich, but they need wins, don't they? And time is running out for them.
Yeah, they do, but we need the win. And that's a big thing. So they played some decent teams, draw with Brentford, draw with Bristol City, drawing with Norwich. There's some good little points picked up there, but you're right, they do need the victory just as much as we do, so it should make an intriguing battle from a tactical point of view anyway.
Yeah, and you know, from Leeds' point of view, I mean, it's about getting that job done, isn't it? You know, another win, another step closer now. And the players, I suppose, will be looking at Wigan and thinking, look, we're just not going to give you a sniff in this game. And I suppose the start and the tempo, we play like we did against Sheffield Wednesday, should win the game, shouldn't we?
Should do, and like I say, the players are full of confidence. To get their performance as well, as a player, that does give you more confidence. Thinking back to the Sheffield United result, no one was too bothered kind of player-wise because we knew the performance was there. Again, we're back up performance after performance. In this stage of the season, like I said, to do that under this amount of pressure speaks volumes for the staff and the players. Yeah,
Ben, good stuff. The scouting report then this week, looking ahead to Wigan Athletic on Friday. Of course, it's a match you can follow on LUTV. Only 4 games to go. It's a huge, huge game. So wherever you are around the world, you can get your match pass and you can watch the game, including the UK and Ireland. Head to the website leedsunited.com for all the details. Plenty of build-up as well to come in the week on LUTV, including the big match preview with Leeds legend Eddie Gray and Marcelo Bielsa's press conference. So make sure you keep it with LUTV as we build up to a huge game on Friday. Leeds United taking on Wigan.